Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of King's Medley. Today's video we're going to attempt to install a bumper step for my F-150. Now if any of you have, if you found this video I guess, and you have an F-150, then you're probably here wondering about this bumper step that we're going to install. The one we're going to install today is a DeeZee 6204S. That guy right there. This particular one runs about $50 on Amazon. So I chose to give it a try as opposed to the other one's like $240, $250 for the one that actually folds back and forth. This particular one is stationary. As you can see right here, supposedly it will mount on two existing bolts that are down there, and then it looks like in the pictures at least that it will be for the most part out of the way, but down enough that you can get your foot on it. Material wise, it is pretty heavy steel, and the coating on it is a really nice, it's got a really nice heavy coat of gloss paint on it. Really impressed by the looks of it. The welds all look really good. It came packed in foam, as to be expected, but it had jiggled around in there, so it kind of tore up the packing in there, and it is everywhere. I've got it all over me. You'll probably see it later in the video. But anyway, I'm going to get underneath the truck now, and hopefully we can see the bolts that this is supposed to go onto. It looks like there's two existing bolts coming out, and you take the nut off, this slides on, and then you put the nuts back on. Is it going to be that easy? We're going to find out. Let's see. Alright, so I'm kind of doing a dry fit on this just to make sure that it's going to go up underneath here. For reference, this is a 2018 Ford F-150 XLT 4x4 crew cab. So I'm guessing from what I know about the models thus far, the 2017s, 2019s, and I think the 2020s should all share the same pieces back here. I'm not sure about 2016s, but I know the 17s and 18s and I believe 19s are definitely the same. I'm going to remove this off here. You can see the bolts that's going on to. And for reference, here's the bumper. Well, here's the bumper. And then this is a piece from the frame coming back and attaching to the bumper. So what I'm going to do, according to the directions, is get these two nuts off. Looking at them, I may need to spray. Looking at them, I may need to put some liquid encouragement on those to get them to come off. But I'm going to go ahead and get some penetrating fluid or some PB Blaster on those, and we'll get those backed off and see how this is going to mount up. I think it's going to work out okay just from the dry run and how it's sat on there, but let me get my stuff together here and we'll get these off and see how it's going to go. Alright, so I've got some put some PB Blaster on there to hopefully loosen things up a little bit. Incidentally, while I was in the process of going back and forth, I did see on the box that this particular bracket is good for 2015 on up F-150s. So, you know, occasionally, guys, it does help to read the box or the manual, I guess. In any case, I'm going to get started on these those nuts. In case you're wondering, it is a 21 millimeter, so you don't have to go hunting around like I did. That'll save you a couple of steps. All right, so good thing I did put some encouragement on there, because they were very hard to get those nuts off. Matter of fact, I had to get a breaker bar out to get them loose and to get them started. But now that we've got those off, it's time to get this guy up on here, and then we'll get them tightened back up. That should be how it goes. Get the two nuts back on here. The top one will be a little trickier because you can't see it. And then, just a matter of tightening it up. Just from what I felt so far by messing around with the bracket assembly and everything, it's really heavy duty. I really don't see any issues. If you had concerns about it bending or, you know, putting weight on it, I think the weight capacity listed was like 300 pounds, which I could easily see that being one of those safety limits. I'm not saying you should probably go on up there if if you weigh about 300 pounds and you've got 200 pounds of stuff in your hand. That might be, you might want to just be a little wary about that. But you know, to just get yourself up in the bed, I think that's probably just about right on the capacity wise. And if you've ever had anything besides a Ford, particularly like a 2014 and newer GM, you know they've got their step bumper, and that's a super nice feature. I had a 14 GMC Sierra, and that feature was awesome, and I've missed that ever since. You know, we're not getting any younger these days, and I didn't want to have to use the Ford step bumper option because this truck didn't come with it, and it wasn't really a requirement for me at the time. But this option is inexpensive enough that I think will work out pretty well. We'll find out here in just a moment. Just want to get this snort down, tightened down enough. That's good, I think. This top one a little more. There we go. All right. Set that aside. And let's have a look at what we've got. There we go. I think one concern with this was that it would be in the way, and just looking at it here, you know, in line with the back of the truck, I don't really think that's going to be the case. It's not really any lower than the hitch. Matter of fact, it's about the same height as the hitch, so I think that's going to be just fine. Let me kind of pick some things up here, and I'll test it out and we'll see what it does. So, how well does it work? Let's see. Much easier. And I think even with work boots, matter of fact, I know with work boots, it would be no issue at all for those to step in there and step up into your bed. So, overall, thumbs up, DeeZee. That works pretty well. I don't need the fold-in mechanism on there. To me, it's probably just one more thing that may or may not go wrong. And this is unobtrusive enough that I don't see it being an issue of hitting things or getting caught on things. I don't go off-roading with the truck really, other than maybe occasionally out into the woods, which isn't, you know, it's a trail in the woods, so it's not really a big deal. So I don't really see this getting caught or really being an issue. The top of it is not rubber. It is just stamped metal. The steel is kind of stamped and it has ridges on it for traction. It did not feel slippery at all with my shoes, and these are just my outdoor shoes just for around the house and projects like this, so their traction is not the greatest on them anyway. Overall though, for $50, I really don't think you can go wrong. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, hey, give me a like and consider subscribing. And as always, once again, thanks for watching King's Medley.